Hello, man. It's great when you screw up right from the start. Hello, and
Hello, hello.
welcome to the Iron Rations live stream. I am Eric Tenkar, and with me every other Friday going forward is none other than Joe the lawyer.
Hello, everybody. What an auspicious beginning.
Yes, I fucked that up right from the start. By the way, for those of you listening at home, as you might not know, but you can probably guess, I am a fucking potty mouth. So the F bombs will roll. And Joe is a civil servant too, so I'm sure that there'll be some language.
yeah, there'll be definitely, especially if you channel your job.
Yeah. Oh God, yes. This is Christmas Eve, not Christmas Eve, but the Christmas Day evening, and we are kicking this off because we wanted to make sure we kicked this live stream off in 2020. Like I said, the game plan is that we will be doing this every second and fourth Friday of the month, Joe.
Yeah, I think so, because my brother runs his games on the other two of the month. So yeah, that works perfectly.
All right. That is awesome time. So now, I'm sure the unasked question that will come up is, what are we going to talk about? We are going to be talking about Dungeons and Dragons and its clones and its additions and whatever strikes our fucking fancy. But right now, Joe has an interesting thing that he has pitched to me. Excuse me, prior to us logging in. So, Joe, let's set this up because again, like I said, I don't agree with everything that you have to say, but
Okay. All right, let's. So I've been thinking about length of campaigns and complexity of rule sets and any sort of correlation. So there's a little bit of maybe a couple minute preface to the whole topic, but I guess I'm positing a thesis and I'm sort of debate it like an old school debate, right? But we play a lot of games with old school essentials, and it's mostly quick games in a small localized setting, right? Played a lot. I mean, you played a long campaign with Tim, like it lasted about a year. It was a localized setting. It was regional, and within that, old school essentials was great. Now I'm playing a 5e game. I'm running one. It's for the first time I've ever really. I mean, using Forgotten Realms, but I modified so much of it. It's like a huge, big difference in what the actual rules setting is. And I've been running a campaign, I don't know, 2.5 years now, and there's a lot of complexity to it. And so I appreciate the level of complexity of 5e more so than OSE for something like that. I don't like 5e, but it's the rules that the people play with me with. So I'm kind of stuck with it. As I think, though, about what I want to do going forward, expanding upon a lot of ideas I've been having about my own setting, my own world, whatever you want to call it, right? And set a campaign in there. I definitely want to do a long campaign, several years. And I keep going back and forth. Which rule set? I know it's not going to be 5e, because if it's going to be my world, I want to use the rule set I prefer rather than the rule set I, tolerate, right? So, and I'm jumping back and forth between old school essentials, OSC, and Astonishing Swordsman and Sorceress Hyperborea, Ash, or Hyperborea for short, because OSC is simple. Everybody could jump in and have a pickup game, right? If they want to, join in during the week or something like that, you're not a regular person, and you can take part in the long-term campaign that way.
Right.
Ash, though, allows for a greater complexity of different types of characters, more archetypes, and more interesting classes, right? I know they don't do anything but human, but I've already created house rules for demi-humans and things like that. I guess I'm going to go that way. Now, Ash's complexity, I think, goes well with a complex, complicated, large-scale setting of a world, because you could have a place for classes like Runegraver or Bards or something like that, which may not fit a small-time little thing you're doing, right? And so I think it would enhance not only your development of the world, because you might develop areas or systems or places based on those classes that you can bring them out, but it also the classes add to the world in terms of the players are more invested in learning different characteristics or traits or abilities of a class and playing them well if they know it's going to be a long-term campaign. They're not just going to go, backstab or climb walls, or I swing my sword or I shoot a fireball. They're going to think differently, right?
Okay.
And so that's, I guess, my point is, I think that for a more complicated, large scale world, I think you do well having a more complicated, I guess, for lack of a better word, more expansive base game to play in. Boom. There it is. 3 minutes in,
No,
but that's...
and I understand your point. However, I don't know how complicated you want to get it. And I would even argue that, and I don't even know if there's a system out there that really handles this, except maybe, God forbid, 5e. But I don't know if there's an OSR game or a classic D&D game. Maybe Beck Me, where your characters get more complicated as they level. In other words, they start as your fighter, but then as they progress, they become a paladin, or maybe they become a ranger, or they take some other subclass, but they start as the core class. So the players get to learn their class before becoming more specialized.
Yeah.
And they don't have to specialize. So now, me, again, having written Swords and Wizardry Light, I have a certain fondness for it because I can grab it and run at a convention, 1, 2, 3, as you've seen, have everybody create their characters at the table, 15 minutes, everybody has a unique character, we're up and running.
Yep.
Now, is every fighter pretty much the same? Yes. Until people start role-playing it differently. Now, your first level fighter in Swords and Wizardry is going to be pretty much similar to somebody else's first level fighter in Swords and Wizardry, and not necessarily the same in Astonishing Swordsman and Sorcerer's Hyperborea, because you have more class options. But if you're playing Swords and Wizardry Complete, you can be a fighter, ranger, paladin, maybe throw in some house character classes. Do you really need that extra complexity at the beginning of the campaign?
That's a good point.
See, one of the things that I think that Beckme did really well, and I think it's underappreciated, is that it allowed not just the characters, but the players to grow into their character, to allow them to say, all right, what direction do I see myself progressing as? And then tweak it along those lines. You didn't have to go at the first level and say, I'm going to be a paladin and I'm going to kill all the baby orcs, or I won't kill any baby orc, because that's a whole other alignment, nature versus nurture. That could be a whole episode. God help us when we get into that one.
The baby orc episode.
Yeah. People will burn us at the stake. But
God, that'd be terrible.
But I mean, that's something that I think Beckme did very well. I think part of the issue is that players, especially, either they want one of two things, and they very rarely want something in between. Either they want simple characters and let them grow organically into whatever they're going to grow, or they want to start with a complicated character where, bells and whistles, almost like maybe AD&D 2E, where you take a character and I got to choose my weapon skills and my non-weapon proficiencies and how am I tweaking my character. And then 3rd edition or 3rd X and Pathfinder took that to the it's Christmas, so we're going to say the Christmas tree extreme on that one, where you had to figure out how many ornaments and lights you want on your character at what level.
Yeah.
And see, I think Beckme, by it being segmented like it is in basic, expert, companion, master and immortal, but by segmenting it off as it did, it kept that idea of I'm going to pre-plan my character out from levels 1 through 36. which I
I
think,
I see
you
what you're
know,
saying about Beckme. It's one of the few systems that does that. It even has this, the combat system, the running your little barony system, all that kind of stuff.
yes,
The thing about certain classes, though, I guess this dovetails into something else that sort of relates to this, is that for me, classes and races are dictated by the setting and not the game, right? And so if
I
I'm
definitely.
so if I'm taking the time to create the settings, sometimes paladins don't exist. You can't play the ranger unless you're in this country. They have them, right?
Right.
It's sort of like you have to unlock, like video game terms, right? You got to unlock ranger by visiting Erebor, which has rangers, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. You might start with the basic 4 classes, and then if you journey or travel to other places, you visit a monastery in the desert and you learn about that. You now unlock monks. And so if you ever wanted to roll up a new character, now that you've been introduced to it through role playing, you can have a monk, right? And so something like that.
The difference there, because you're saying that, yeah, kill your character off or retire him so you can now roll a
A
first level monk.
first level monk. yeah, exactly.
Whereas with Beckme, it's, well, I've progressed to a point. Now I'm at that decision point of which route do I take. And when you talk about classes by settings, I think you have the Adventurer Conqueror King system, Axe, which does a great job of showing how you can take the basic expert system, which included classes that were racial, like elf was a class, dwarf was a class, and you can make it so that it isn't just, dwarf is a fighter that's short and has some magic resistance.
Greg
They
Christopher
took
did that
it.
too, remember? Greg Christopher's system, what the hell was that called?
Yes.
He did the same, similar thing.
Oh God, and I should A&A. I'm trying to remember what
Ambition and avarice.
By the way, Ambition and Avarice Second Edition is in the works. I have a playtest.
Nice.
Maybe we might have to playtest that.
That'd be cool. I haven't talked to him forever, man. That'd be gotta be kind of neat to say hi again.
You know what? I'll remind him, and I'll suggest that he add you to the beta group that he put together on Discord.
Yeah, no, that'd be freaking cool, man. How's he doing?
He's doing well,
good.
He's been working on A&A. And A&A, you're right. A&A had classes that were based upon race, and it was race's class, but they were unique. It wasn't like, it's a dwarven fighter. It's a gnome fighter. No, they all had their tweaks, and they were very good tweaks. So that is another way to do it. I'm one that likes my simplicity. However, I am also the one that also likes to cobble together unique magical adversaries and creatures for my players to encounter, because I like the idea of uniqueness. And I've designed character classes for Swords of Wizardry. Back in the day, I actually did racial classes, like halfling classes that were a priest that was based upon what you'd expect for halflings, or a twist on how like a halfling ranger might be, or an arcane caster for halflings. And I think that could certainly work. But I also like the idea of the Beckme solution of everybody starts out as a basic class, and then at 4th level, then you branch. And that way, that's how a lot of video games do it too, right? A lot of MMOs, you start off with the base class, and then you kind of branch.
I remember Expert brought in druids. They brought in a couple of things there. Hey, Epi, how you doing? I forget what it was though, but you're right. I think I haven't played it in so long, I can't remember. But was it that you were a cleric and then you got the choice to become a druid, or did you just unlock druids at that point? I wish I could remember. I don't remember.
If I remember, you unlock druid. You can either progress as a druid or as a cleric.
All right.
That was the deal.
Okay.
Which is different than how AD&D handled it. AD&D, you had to start with the subclass, but the issue was you had to have the stats to do it, and that's the other thing. When it comes to a lot of the old school gaming, did we really enforce, well, to be a paladin, you have to have a 17 charisma, or you playing by Unearthed Arcana rules where it's like, well, hey, we'll use ability score table number 5.
Yeah.
Where
Racial modifiers,
everybody.
is that it?
Well, no. So you want to be a paladin, you're going to roll 9 dice for charisma.
Oh yeah.
And if you roll under 17,
Yeah.
you get the minimum. So I mean, I don't want to insult anybody. I don't want to say, hey, it's Care Bearing the system, because listen, when I was in my teens, I would have Care Beared anything.
We always did.
So
We allowed 3,000 rolls there for the 1% chance to get psionics. We kind of just kept rolling until we got it. Then we broke our game.
In between game sessions, your stats would say your 13 intelligence would inch up to 14. The next thing you know, your fighter has a 16 intelligence and the 17 strength is now 1845. Then it's an 1862, and I mean,
I swear, DM, it was a +7 longsword.
Usually your DM remembered the magic items in general that they gave out,
Yeah.
But they didn't remember things like your scores, and nobody was confronting you on that. So, listen, I'll admit it. I'm 53 now, but when I was 13, I cheated up my sheet very poorly.
See, we never tried it, me and my brother, because we both knew that each other would be like a hawk watching for that. It's like we had a mutual. It was like the stalemate with the arms race, Russia, U.S. back in the 80s. So, trust but verify. We didn't trust each other. We had to verify to make sure you don't pull in no bullshit.
Oh wow, that's funny.
That was our dynamic. He still blames me for some deaths that I caused some of his characters that were, looking back, I was 15. Unfair, yeah. As a 50-year-old, yeah, totally unfair and dickish. But hey, I'm 15. You pissed me off about something, I'm sure. So I traumatized.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna happen, man. Yeah. You're gonna suffer the slings and arrows when you're that age. Yep. See, my problem is when we were 13, 14, we had I was the main DM, and especially up in the Poconos when I played. My fellow players, they'd rotate in as a DM, but we only had a group of like 3, maybe 4. So you always were putting your own character through the adventure.
Oh yeah, always.
So
that does the same thing. Yeah.
So there was always the Holy Avengers showing up around the 6th or 7th level.
Yeah.
Because none of the other guys can use it. Well, it's still a +2 sword for me. Yeah, but it's a +5 sword for me. But you're running the adventure.
It's amazing how that worked out, huh?
Yeah.
Look, it's in the adventure too. Whited out, written over.
DM PCs, never again.
You're talking about the complicated. Jumping back again to the complications of the system and all that. There was a big. I guess this guy. He has a YouTube channel called Taken 20. I think it's called. He has like a 250,000, followers or whatever. And he came out with something last week. I don't know if you saw it. He's done with Pathfinder 2e, and he prefaced it. Yeah, it was interesting because it's what I've been saying about 5e for a long time, especially my brother and my friends. Basically, he says, listen, I'm not a 5e, shill here just trying to slam the other guy. He goes, in all my time with all these, this channel, basically, I'm not, I've been treated okay. I've never been, I'm not trying to be a dick to anybody. He says, but essentially what it comes down to is I've been playing Pathfinder 2e. They've been good to me, but still, I got to say, I'm not going to play it anymore. And the gist of his argument was, it's complicated, but unnecessarily so, because essentially it's an illusion of choice. He says what you do in every combat, it's like an EverQuest. You did EverQuest back in the day. It's like cycling.
Oh, I did.
You're cycling round after round. Do this, do that, do this. Key after. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of shit, right? And he says, no matter what you do, that's pretty much how it comes out. And I'm like, that's what I'm saying about 5e. You get all these extra bonuses and tricks and traits and blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day, it's a plus couple more to your main thing at X level for every class. And he took all kinds of shit for that. He took all kinds of shit. A lot of people rebutting him, calling, I mean, it was something. He was pissed. He did a rebuttal video where he actually did the math. And he says, essentially what you're doing, once you start picking this trait or this feat or this whatever, this skill, you're roping yourself into a course of action during most every combat. That's the obvious choice, the one that's going to give the most damage. Why would you do something less? And he broke down the math of all of them. Then he did a 5e comparison. He saw 5e wasn't so egregious, but it still had the same issues. And he says it's like this illusion of choice. That's all you're getting of a complex game. Is just it's like a mind trick, Jedi mind trick. You think you're getting more freedom and a more complicated character to play with, but no, what you're doing is the same freaking thing every time anyway. And so you say, well, I got my fighter is different than that fighter, but you're still doing the same shit every round. You're not being any different within your own role.
It's optimization, and ever since third edition, optimization was and people are going to argue, well, optimization was in early editions. Sure, I'm not going to say it wasn't, but the game system wasn't written to be optimized until third edition, and then fourth edition kind of went the other route where everybody has the same bonus. Every class gets the same bonus. So really, you're all going to be the same. And then Pathfinder took third edition and did the Spinal Tap to it and took third edition up to 11 and gave the 3E players more of what they wanted. Don't get me wrong. It did a great job of doing that.
Yeah, more balanced.
But it was more balanced, but also gave them more little dials to twist. And to optimize. And I played 1E, I played 2E. I left gaming early '97, so right before third edition came out. And I never knew anybody who planned out their characters, what they were doing with their next level, let alone what they're going to be doing 10 levels from now.
I did.
And then I started. I did. You'd have the dreams of having a stronghold, but they weren't planning out what abilities they had to take now to take it 6th level, to take it 8th level. So at 12th level, they'll have the proper background to be whatever prestige class, whatever they called it.
You did that in third edition, not first or second. You're right, but just third edition. Is when I started doing all that. Yeah,
and that was, in my original gaming era, that was not something I ever experienced. And when I started hearing it from players and reading it on message boards, I was just like, how did this become the game? And I think there's certainly a place for that. Maybe I'm a bit old school. It's not in my mindset because I like to experience the game as it grows. I like to see it organically and the campaign grow organically. And when my character has to do X, Y, and Z to become Y, and I have this all planned out, then the campaign's got to go in a certain direction.
Yeah.
Right? To accomplish that.
Exactly. Then you steamroll the DM's bullshit. Yeah. That's the same thing with backgrounds, like you were saying before. Some people just roll in with I don't know, what's my name, what's my race. They don't even know it. They roll up their shit, they start swinging. Right? That's one way. But then there's guys that write a freaking short story about everything that happened to them before they even started adventuring. I'm like, dude, just retire then. You've accomplished everything in the world already. You haven't even gotten second level yet. You had 0 XP and you've done all this bullshit in life. Why don't you just retire your guy, put the end, and sell your short story? That's all you wanted, just to write a short story or some novella or some crap. You know what I mean?
And that certainly is it. I mean, I remember when I was running a game every other week in Long Island. This was back in the Tim Connolly era when we had a really good gaming group. And Tim needed to step away for a bit, so I stepped up. I took the DM reins, and he had been running AD&D 1E, and I said, I'll run Swords and Wizardry Light. And we went from having our private room because they changed facilities. They changed where the store was. The store moved locations, and we didn't have the option to rent the private room. So now we were general populace. We took on, walk-on players, and we had a walk-on player.
Yeah.
And if you had a walk-on player, the store didn't want you to turn them away, and I respected that. And the kid is like, I call him a kid. He was, 20-ish. hey, what's this game? I told him, it's Swords and Wizardry. He goes, oh, all right, that's like D&D, but stripped down. I'm like, yeah, pretty much. He goes, well, can I play a halfling? Definitely. All right, well, I always play a halfling with butterfly wings that you're on this whole, and I'm looking at
fart daisies and
it's like, I was like, listen, you can play whatever you want so long as it's coming out of these 4 pages of the rules.
Yeah.
Like, huh? Halfling description is right there. So you went, oh. So then, like the first comment, oh, I pull out my sword of singing. I'm like,
you're what?
I go, how did you sword of singing? Well, my last game, I go, dude, you're not playing in your last game. You're a first level character in this game. I don't know what character you're playing, but I was just like, if you think it's coming back for the next session in 2 weeks, I go, if I see him as I pull into the parking lot, if I see him in the store, I'll call you all and we're going to cancel out. Because I'm not dealing with that again. But there are players that are like that, and and there was a place for them. It's not in my group.
Yeah, definitely not my table.
but there's certainly a place for them. Some people, we had a gamer when I was in college. Now I'm going to really date myself because this was back in the late 80s. And we were the Gamers Guild or Club at Queens College. Mm-hmm. And I was the president because everybody else took a step back.
And
I didn't take a step back quick enough. So I was the president. So this kid comes in. We're all 20-ish somethings. And the kid comes in and he's like, oh, this is the D&D club? We're like, yeah, come on in. We're always looking at new gamers too. He goes, oh, well, this is kind of cool. He goes, yeah, I've been playing since I was 10. I'm like, oh, awesome. Yeah, I even designed my own world. I go, I dabbled with that. And I had a sheet of hexagonal graph paper that I kind of scribbled and colored pencils on for maybe like half the page. And I found it a couple of years ago. I was like, wow, this looks like shit. So he opens up his backpack and he opens up a map, and I am not kidding. It was 10 sheets by 20 sheets taped together.
I've done that. Not that big, but I've done the tape them all together technique.
Oh, yeah, no. And then he starts talking about the races he designed, and he's going to give us geography as he's laying this thing out on the club floor. I was just like, oh, I got to go to class, dude. Really, I don't, but I really got to go to class because,
Yeah.
Why don't you come back at 7 when we're all gone and the room is locked and it'll be dark? But there are people he'll fit into groups.
Yeah, and I've seen those groups online. I've seen them. I started running games at a couple libraries, and I saw a lot of those kids doing that. Mostly kids, younger. The younger they were, the more bullshit they came out with about their backstory. Yes. They really want to be an author. And so when I started running a game in a game store, what I did is, listen, you got new guys coming in. What I'll do is I'll set up my house rules. I've noticed that I wrote a set of house rules that pretty much lays it out. Here's what the kind of game you're going to get, right? And so I wrote, I'll read it to you here. It turns to the game style. I emailed this to them, and pretty much most of the time they wouldn't show up after they read it. Style. There are no safe spaces in this world. There are 0 benevolent, all-knowing, wise, powerful, immune to temptation, goodly, rich, and generous wizards, or any others of that type. I hate the Gandalf, Elminster, Tensor, every fantasy novel since Lord of the Rings trope. Likewise, there are no organizations of that type. So basically, the gods you worship don't give a shit about you as an individual. They don't intervene in ways large or small ever. And I said something about your background. Let's see. A character can choose any background from the player's handbook and gain benefits from it. However, your personal backstory, the narrative of where you come from, why you adventure, and what your goals in life are cannot be anything that makes you special in any way or that sets up some quest that you must do, i.e. your sister was kidnapped by orcs and it's your life's mission to rescue her. You are a blank slate and nobody from nowhere. Basically, your choice of background shouldn't drag all the other characters along on a boring-ass mission. It only matters to you. Basically, background is meaningless. What you do with your life, what you do going forward is all that matters. So that's how I lay it out. A lot of people just didn't bother showing it.
Well, you know what? But that is, and not only is it honest, man, that is the old school.
Yeah.
Your character was a blank slate that started at first level, and then what you became is what you evolved into via gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And nobody cared that your... Oh, I shouldn't say that. Once when Earth Arcana came out, you could roll your social standing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm upper class. Oh, now I got to figure out what the...
All that bullshit.
All right. Yeah, your father is Count Bite My Ass. It's like, oh, jeez. Needless complications added to the game. But you're right. You can have whatever backstory you want, so long as it doesn't affect the story going forward.
Yeah. You could have whatever shit you want in your own head the entire time, filling in the blanks of what happens into the novel you're writing with this character in it. It's not going to affect my game, my setting, or anybody else at the table, though.
Yeah, no, not at all, man. And I think that some players forget that. Some campaigns forget that. I mean, I've seen GMs go, I want a backstory. 3 paragraphs to your backstory. Like, why?
Yeah, what the fuck?
I mean, unless you tell me that you are going to design elements of the campaign going forward on my backstory, in which case I'm going to wonder how well this campaign is going to be, because you're going to have 4 to 6 fucked up backstories.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I need to fill in the blanks that are going to make me become Uber.
Yeah.
Uber, I tell you.
And that's all it is. It's about being special and cool and neat and different and unique. Shut the fuck up. Swing your sword. Go kill the fucking. Come on. You don't need to be all that. That's some kind of wish fulfillment that you're not getting out of regular life.
Right. And you're starting with a first level character. You're not. It's like you're not an established individual. It's like saying, all right, well, my experience. I might be a rookie cop, fresh out of the academy, but I want to be given my own command.
Yeah.
No, dude, it doesn't work that way. Oh, yeah, well, I might be a rookie cop, but you see, my father is the police commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
And while that does happen on occasions, it doesn't happen in real life for people like you and I or anybody that we are going to know.
Yeah.
So no, you don't get to write that into your backstory. So yeah, I've always seen that the backstory. Now, that being said, I love it when my players write up the game session. Write up the game session from your character's eyes. That's awesome.
I love that. I love that too. I used to give XP for that if they did it. Back when I used, what the hell was that thing? What was that program or app that you could arrange your campaigns on and keep notes and share pictures and all that stuff?
Oh, God. You know what? Here's the thing. I was a lifetime campaign.
Shit.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you turn 50. We're all old and foggy-headed.
Yeah.
What I would do is early on, I would run campaigns out of that and have people log in and say, listen, if you post a character picture, you got 50 XP. If you draw a monster or some scene from the adventure, 50 XP. Do a write-up from your character's POV, 100 XP, something like that, and that gets them invested in it too, Draw a picture of your character, one-time bonus, 200 XP. Shit like that was fun. Obsidian Portal, boom, there it is.
Oh, Jesus, my God.
Does
it still exist? Because I think I have a lifetime for that. Because oh, man.
Yeah, I liked it, though. I really did. I think what is that, the World Anvil, the World Forge, or something like that, that's now, the Troll Lords uses that a lot. What the hell am I thinking?
World Anvil.
World Anvil, yeah, that seems to be like, Obsidian Portal on steroids. I haven't used it yet, but I'm just looking at some of the videos. I'm like, holy crap, there's a lot on there. Yeah. Are they still in business, Obsidian Portal?
They are, and it still. Oh my god! It still remembers all this new. Oh, I'm no longer ascendant. I guess they. I
Ah,
guess they caught up to me after a couple of years. I hadn't logged on into it. My god! I think I was dating my wife Rachel when I last logged into this.
wow, wow. It's been a
Holy
while.
Christmas! Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a good
But
setting. A good little thing, though. I liked it for you had setting information, you had character information, you had notes, you had the journal entries, you had a little bulletin board you could talk about between the adventures and things like that. About 10 years ago, it was all the rage. Remember? And 9 or
yep.
10 years ago. Yeah.
Now I'm going to tell you how I know they probably last updated 424. 2014 is telling me the last time I no, so Rachel and I weren't dating. We were married, but oh wow, I was planning out a Castles and Crusades game using Fantasy Grounds 2. Holy
Uh-huh.
shit! But here's how you know this software has not been updated.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm looking at the page right now of my Obsidian Portal campaign, and there's an icon graphic for D20 system. D20 system hasn't been a thing for
Third edition. Jesus.
and it got canceled pretty early on, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, the license kept going, and that's how you got all the, all that. But yeah, it was. I mean, Jesus Christ. Oh, the D20 system itself. You mean?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I'm
yeah.
like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that's an issue. They're still using that graphic on the site.
Now, speaking of Castles and Crusades, I backed a lot of their shit this year. I bought a lot of stuff from them. I that's one big hole in my old school collection was CNC, and they had a recent Kickstarter for their player's handbook, and I bought that. And they had a recent Kickstarter for the World of Aired, whatever the hell they call it.
Oh yeah.
So I bought that, and then on the backer kit thing, I bought all like the back things that they put out, the Castle Keeper's Guide, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, but I don't know, by maybe summertime, I'm gonna have a whole shelf of CNC stuff here, all their 5e conversions. Like, Jesus, what the hell am I thinking on the bookcase?
You know what? The guys from Troll Lords are they're solid people.
Yeah, I agree.
They're the ones that are basically doing the rescue on the Ernie Gygax, Benoit Poirier Kickstarter.
What happened there?
The Hobby Shop Dungeon. What happened there is Ernie got sick.
Yeah,
that was part of it. I think Ernie was supposed to be handling the writing. Benoit was handling the mapping, the graphic aspect, and then he had to kind of carry it all. And their ability to produce a finished product wasn't there. However, they did something very smart, and I give Ernie a lot of credit because my first GaryCon a number of years ago, he actually sought me out and said, "I want to sit down and talk with you." I go, "Why?" He goes, because you're the guy in the OSR that keeps on top of all the Kickstarters and other fiascos. I'm like, yeah.
Your infamous shit list, yeah.
Infamous shit list. He goes, I need to show you something. I'm like, all right. I go, what do you want to show me? He goes, I want to show you the bank statement. I go, well, I don't want to see anything that I'm not supposed to see. He goes, no, I want to show you the commercial bank statement that shows you the money from the Kickstarter is still accounted for.
He didn't blow it in Vegas or anything, huh?
No, I didn't blow it on blow or any of that shit.
Yeah.
And so when you look at that, okay, and you look at, say, City State, the Invincible Overlord, where that was another poorly managed project.
Mm-hmm.
The stories behind that would include stories like, I don't know, Bob III asking for money from his father, Bob II. Bob III was the project manager saying, I need to hire a layout artist. I need, I don't know, what was it, like $2,000. And it's a legitimate expense. So Bob II writes the check, and Bob III decides that he is going to learn layout so he can pay himself as the layout artist.
Oh, Jesus.
So that is not the way to run a Kickstarter. But because of the way Benoit and Ernie did it, they had the work largely done. It was just getting it to that final completion that was a hurdle that they were just, not hitting their cylinders on. They were able to get rescued by Troll Lord Games. Troll Lord Games came in and said, "Hey, you've done the work. You still have the money. This isn't white knighting. This is coming in and bringing in a basically management team to bring this project to completion. Taking the work that you've done, putting in the extra 5% to finalize it, and getting this stuff printed, which they're in a process of getting it all finalized, and they're doing it. But nobody's going to step in and save the city state of the Invincible Overlord.
Yeah.
It's a money pit. It is a fucking money pit. Now,
I wish Rob Connolly could get the rights to all that Majestic, all the Wilderland stuff, all of the Judges Guilds. He would do such a bang up job. He knows that shit backwards and forwards, man.
Yes, he does.
It's amazing what he's done with it.
And he's organized and he's honest. Okay, and that's the other difference too.
Yeah.
Benoit and Ernie are honest.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know Benoit only from the bulletin board days back in the RPG side. I think maybe EN World as well. But yeah, definitely the RPG side. A lot of interactions back then, 10 years ago. He was a stand-up guy. He wasn't a dick. And a lot of people on RPG side could be a dick. I kind of liked it about that they let you be whatever you wanted there. There was no
no more.
No. Oh, really?
You can only be a dick if you're being a political dick, and only the right politics allows you to be a dick.
I haven't been there in a while, so
yeah, I only peruse it when I get the PM. There's another dumpster fire going on over on RPGnet. I'm like, no, really?
It's like saying, hey, this water is wet too.
I mean,
I used to throw some wood in that dumpster fire back in the day, though.
RPGnet used to be one of the premier portals.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm talking about RPG site.
Oh,
that's
RPG
site.
That's
the one I'm talking
You're
about.
Talking about the pundit site.
The pundit place.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the place. Yeah, no. The RPG site's the place you can do whatever, be a dick.
You can piss on somebody's back, tell them it's raining, they'll punch you in the face, and all is good.
That's it. Buy a beer afterwards, just like the old days.
Yeah.
Like a schoolyard fight in the 70s. You play kickball your friends after lunch.
Listen, the RPG.net used to be as popular, I think, if not more popular than the EN World.
I agree. Yeah.
Now their Alexa ranking is about 120K. To put that in perspective, my small blog, Tenkar's Tavern, comes in at like 153K. Wow. But I rank better in the US than they do, which is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. But that's again, and not to get into politics, but when you put politics in your gaming, yes, you will certainly energize those that will agree with your political stance, but you're going to alienate those that don't. Yeah. And especially when it becomes very vocal, it's a really tough thing to read or look at. And,
it's not worth it. It's such a shit show when you start going down that road. I just like my game. My games are an escape. I mean, you deal with bullshit and politics and crap all day long. I don't want to think about that stuff when I'm playing a game. I just want to, you know what I mean? I just want to roll dice and kill orcs. That's it.
I mean, listen, I have played convention games with people that I know from their online presence. Everybody's across the political spectrum. That you sit at the game table, and you know what? Everybody's there for the same reason. They're there to game and have a good time, and nobody's worried about what your politics are, what your religion is, or any of that stuff. And I've always been a huge proponent of that. And again, I will give credit where credit is due. Frank Metzner is the one that told me, you know what, it already pretty much is, but Tenkar's Tavern needs to make a stand that it is a neutral ground. And he was right. And oh my God, the pushback I got on that was, but it was the people that didn't like me because I wasn't taking a political stand in the first place. So whatever.
Yeah,
So you
got to be happy with yourself and what you're doing, man. It's your life. It's your thing. You're going to have many more decades running this thing. You're not going to put any time or love into it if you're running somebody else's thing.
Right. And by the way, from your mouth to God's ears, knock on wood, I'd love a couple more decades of doing this shit.
You'll get it, man.
as we discussed beforehand, the world of COVID has really screwed up gaming for a lot of people. I
Yeah.
do the vast majority of my gaming at conventions, and not that I play in games. I run games. I
Mhm.
run a session or two at pretty much every con I go to. I work the Frog God table, and I hang out in the bars, and I socialize.
Yeah.
That is why I go to conventions. I go to conventions to meet friends and meet friends from the internet, from Facebook, the
Yeah.
tavern, the live streams, the podcast. There's nothing more satisfying than being on the line, getting food, and talking with Rachel, and then I hear somebody going, "I know that voice, Tenkar."
Yeah.
The guy
Yeah.
leaves me a podcast. I'm like, "Oh shit!"
That's cool, man. See, I play a lot online because I run, let's say in an average month, I'm running 2 or 3 games and I'm playing, game sessions, right? So an average month, I'm
Right,
running 2 or 3 game sessions and I'm probably playing in what, Jesus, 15, 16, something like that. I don't know. I play in 1, 2, 3, yeah, like probably at least 15, 16 sessions in a month. And so all that's
wow,
done on Roll20 now. It used to be at least half of it was done in person. My brother, my friends, things
right,
like that, right? Then we play with, my Jackson or Tim Shorts or Connolly, all these guys online because we're geographically distanced. We can't play,
right,
right? And
right,
so we can't play in person. But the extent that we used to be able to, I used to be running 3 games a week or so for a while in 5e in different places. That was fun. It was overwhelming in a sense sometimes, but it was fun. But I prefer the running a campaign with people in person. I keep buying dice, dude. I'm like I just want to roll fucking dice. I want to roll dice again. I look forward to an opportunity to roll dice in person again.
dude. I
Shit.
picked up a case of dice from Dollar Tree and had them mailed to my
Nice.
house.
Hey, I got a kick out of your colors. You're like piss yellow or
Yeah. Some of the colors failed, but hey, for $1 a set, man,
yeah.
they're certainly usable.
Yeah. I keep buying stuff. I bought you heard the big world, the 100, the metal one I got. So I got some stone dice. I got Tiger's Eye, got some metal ones. I just keep buying dice because I just want to play D&D with dice again, for fuck's sake. My
Yeah,
nephew,
no,
he's keyed into me. He picked up, I guess they're like balsa wood, put it together yourself little structures. You know what I mean?
okay,
They come in a box all
yes,
flat, and then you just put them together yourself because he knows how much I want to play in person. I got that for Christmas from him. Thanks, man. But I just can't. I tell him to say, "Hey, first time we get together in session, I'm going to kill your father's character on this."
there you go.
Yeah,
Oh man, yeah, my niece got a lot of D&D related uh, loot for me. She got her own copy of the Dungeon board game, so she has one for our house
nice,
when the girls
nice.
come over. She has the Adventure Begins, which is like the new kind of pre-starter set for D&D. It's a board game that's
Mhm.
more D&D than Dungeon, but less D&D than the basic set, I guess, or a
Okay.
starter set. And that's from Wizards of the Coast, and some other fantasy themed stuff that was, age appropriate. She's 10.
And I was going to say she must be
Because
about 10 or 11 by now. Yeah.
yeah, no, she's 10. Holy crap! That means wow, Swords and Wizardry Light came out 4 years. Wow, geez,
Yeah.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
She was just short of being 6 when it came out.
I tell you, I got pictures. I haven't seen the nephews and nieces a lot this year. Obviously, with COVID and everything, we're
Right.
keeping our distance. And normally you're there all the time. And when you don't see them as much, you see them every couple of weeks or whatever. Next thing all of a sudden, it's like, did you just age a year in 2 weeks? It's just
Oh God, yeah.
growing up so fast. And it's like, fuck, I missed a year. I'm not going to the games like I used to every weekend. I'm not doing all this shit, barbecues or picnics with no family gatherings. And it's like, I got these pictures from my sister-in-law of the kids. And it's like, that's your kids? Or is that a screenshot from the future or something? My God, what the hell happened? What's going on, Holy shit.
If you take Rachel's shoes off and let Shannon wear her sneakers, they're the same height.
That's funny.
Not that Rachel is all that tall, but
She's not. Yeah, true. But she's an adult.
She's an adult. She's not a munchkin, all right? So it's like Shannon's tall for her age, and she's going to be a tall girl.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just I'm hoping that for myself in 2021 in the first quarter, I get to kick off my new campaign. going to be Swords and Wizardry Light, but it's going to be house ruled.
Nice.
A lot of the material will probably wind up sinking into Torchlight, and
Mhm.
I will have to admit that if it wasn't for me, Torchlight issue 1, which is kind of like the second issue of Torchlight, would probably be out by now. But juggling many balls and other assorted shit. And, I think, now that the holidays are behind us, because there was a lot working up to Christmas this year. My God, this was, I mean, and the fact that, and I don't know if you're experiencing this too, you probably are, is that, everybody's, again, mailing you gifts this year. You're not doing gift exchanges in person. Like, we didn't go to Connecticut to my in-laws out there because my nephews, they might not be going to school in person, but they're not isolating at the house. They're playing with all their friends in the neighborhood. Yeah. So
it's not worth their health and all that. We did a curbside, socially distanced curbside quick gift exchange with my parents yesterday. We're literally in a fucking street in the cold. I mean, what is this? What the hell life we got going on here? We're all separated, yelling from lawn chairs on either side of the street. Yep. It's like, what the hell is this? We might do it again tomorrow because we all miss my parents. I mean,
well, that's it. For my mother and my niece share a birthday on the 14th. My sister's the 17th, so we got together. I think on whatever that Sunday was, like the 15th or whatever it was. And the weather wasn't that cold. We got into my sister's house, and we had the chairs on opposite sides of the front yard.
Yeah.
And my sister, my niece, and my brother-in-law all stepped back toward the house, and then we dropped their gifts off, and their gifts were already dropped off nearer the curb from my mother, and it was just like, this is the world. By the way, we have about 10-ish people watching the live stream. If you're watching the live stream, comment, please. It's easy. If you have a question, please do. But if you comment, you are in the running for one of two $25 drive-through RPGnet gift certificates.
Nice.
If you don't comment, you can't be in the running because I don't know who the fuck you are. So throw a comment into the chat. We'll put it up on the screen. And before Joe and I wrap this up, we will pick two winners. Well, give those to be gifted. I don't like to call it winning because it isn't a contest.
Yeah.
You're being gifted.
Plus, too, if you comment, from what I understand, because I watch a lot of YouTube videos and everybody pretty much repeats the same freaking mantra in every single video, so it must be true. If you comment, like, and subscribe to the, apparently it helps us because we get more, subscribers. It goes up higher on the list. We might get more people to view it. It shows up in more people's feeds. So if you like and you comment and you subscribe, you're doing us a favor. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
If you don't like the notification, you can always turn off notifications. But we hope you do like the notifications. So when we're doing this thing again. So it'll be every other Friday, pretty much.
Every second and fourth Friday, which probably means that. Actually, is the first on. The first is the next Friday, right?
Now you got me thinking. What the hell? Yeah, it is first is next Friday.
First is next Friday, so it would be the Friday after that. All right, so we'll be keeping
back on the again. Yeah.
So all right, that works.
Yeah.
But folks, before you go, wow, Tenkar is really generous. No, this is your money. Okay, this is the money that comes from the community using my affiliate links. You're using my drive-through option now affiliate links. That money goes either nowadays back into Torchlight to we're using mostly stock art now. We want to use some fresh art. We're going to be paying contributors when the first issue comes out. I got people I got to pay. My layout guy has been doing it's a premiere in the first issue gratis, but I've talked to him. He'll be taking payment coming the second issue. We got to pay our editor. We like to keep money used about this because I'd rather go back to the community and do something like this. Is fun, and rewarding. Listen, if I could certainly spend this money, I did. I got that. Joe, the 5-book hardcover set of the largest dungeon I think ever published on drive-through.
Was that the Castle White Rock, or was that the
no Castle White? No, it's a recent one. Classic. Yeah, it's I can't remember the hell damn thing it's called, but I picked that up with the
times that you and I couldn't remember something this broadcast, man.
Yeah. Ryan B, I heard about you because I ended up running under Tenkar's Tavern as my kid's first pre-made adventure earlier this year. Well, thank you, Ryan. You know, there's just been a lot of really, great people in the community that have done things with the tavern and for the tavern. And Under Tenkar's Tavern is a fun adventure. I didn't write it, but I was certainly consulted on it, and I think it's great.
That's cool.
Dandelion Games. What do I need most for Torchlight 1 right now? I need me to finish my shit, which is basically going through writing the I guess the editors or the publishers' comments, ensuring that everybody's getting the proper credit, because that's my responsibility, and making sure the OGL is top notch. Now you'd have to be talking about Torchlight issue number 2, which we've started working on. What do we need? Whatever you want to put together. Again, Swords and Wizardry, any of the flavors that you want to work on. We can always use adventures because everybody loves adventures. You want to work on classes, monsters, magic items, pocket settings. You want to do, I don't know, some encounter. Anything you want, we will consider anything. And we pay 5 cents a word, which I know isn't a huge amount, especially when you can be writing small pieces. But as Torchlight starts paying for itself, we will increase that. But
hey, you actually, I remember I gave you something for that. It was the book of, it was like a Latin word, the Book of Rust, and somebody drew the book, actually. It was really cool.
Yeah. I think yours will be in the issue number 1. I think yours.
Cool.
I ended up Tenkar ended up being the tavern keeper for the Raspy Dryad in a Beyond the Wall campaign. We did In Search of the Unknown as a chaser. Beyond the Wall is one of those RPGs that I own. I've never run. I'd love to run it. It seems like, and even if I didn't necessarily run Beyond the Wall, it seems like if I could take that, hack that, and hack the Stars Without Number hex crawl kind of mechanics behind it, that it would be a campaign that would run itself. And actually, I'm looking forward to Kevin Crawford's latest one that he just kickstarted. I really should read the PDF that I have as a backer.
I've never heard of this, man. This is interesting. I just Googled it now. Beyond the Wall campaign and other adventures. Yeah,
Beyond the Wall looks really, really good.
That's cool.
Bill Griggs, what would you guys think about running some of the newer Wizards of the Coast adventures using more old school systems like Swords and Wizardry? You're asking somebody who has run DCC RPG, meaning the current line of adventures, not the ones before Goodman published his own game system. I've run that for Swords and Wizardry on the fly. I think running stuff written for Pathfinder or for 5th edition and converting it to Swords and Wizardry, Labyrinth Lord. If you are a moderately skilled OSR DM, you can do that without hesitation. Yeah. If you are a newer DM, I would advise that you go through the book prior to and go line by line and adjust the things that you need: armor class and hit points and damage. I remember when we were selling Pathfinder by the pound. I don't remember if it was the Blight. It might have been the Blight that we were selling by the pound, and someone was like, "Wow, but I don't play Pathfinder." But it comes out to be like I don't know, $16. I mean, that's how much this book fucking weighed.
Yeah.
And I was like, at $16 for like $125 book, it was either that or Northland Saga. I go, you can go through it and write in pen, not just pencil, in pen, and make corrections. And it was like, oh shit, yeah, you're right. I mean, you're not buying it because it's a $125 book. You're buying it because it's $16 of gaming material that's worth $125 in enjoyment.
And that's how I
make
look
it
at the
work for you.
5e adventures anyway. I can't. I buy them. I bought them all. I have every one of them, and I'm running a 5e game in the realms. But I'm using gray box first edition realms. I haven't updated with any of the newer bullshit. So it's new. It's old stuff.
Right.
And what I'm doing with it though is, with my modified 5e rules, it's barely 5e anymore. And I can't play those modules as written. I call them modules still. I don't know what they call them these days, but adventures or whatever. They're unplayable as written. They're such either a railroad or they don't hang together, and they try to be a railroad under the pretense of not being a railroad. What I do, I break them up into bits and pieces, and I just say that everything in all these books is going on. Maybe some of it's going on, maybe some of it's not, but they're all going on at the same time. And so because they sort of cover different areas geographically or different types of adventures, I'm always able to pull something out of my ass if they say, oh, let's go to the ocean now, or let's go to the jungle now, or let's go to the whatever, the north now. And all right, I got some
Right.
little bullshit I could pull off of here or integrate it into the greater story I'm telling of the history of the world. But I can't play them as written anyway. And so they would naturally be easier to convert over to Swords and Wizardry because, you're just taking bits and pieces anyhow, right? I
Right.
mean, monsters are monsters, 5 orcs are 5 orcs. I changed that shit anyhow.
Yeah, there's a lot you can do with it. Now, I'm going to say this is, I think, more important, is do your research and see what the adventure is that you're going to pick up, whether, as Joe says, it's going to be a total railroad, and that's probably the Wizards of the Coast adventures. The Frog God adventures, another third party, less so because they're written more with old school common sense in mind, but with 5e mechanics as your chassis, and that might work out better. Ryan, I got Beyond the Wall on my multitude of bookshelves, and now I'm going to pull it off and see if I can hack some of that into a Swords and Wizardry campaign, because I think that low prep is what I like, because I like to improv as a GM. And I think
Yeah.
Joe and I could probably do a whole episode on techniques for improving as a GM while still keeping your players on their toes and keeping you on your toes, I guess.
Yeah, and the thing about it though is I don't think about what I'm doing. It's like I just kind of do it, so I don't know what the structure of it all. Back when I had a sales job 1,000 years ago, it was in Manhattan, and I closed a big deal on something nobody else could sell. All right, and the manager comes up to me, and I was just sort of a natural. I just winged it, and I worked it out. And he says, "So tell us all at the big team meeting. What'd you do?" I said, "I don't know. I just made it. I did this." And so as I'm telling him what I did, he's like, and so he's breaking it down in sales theory lingo on the whiteboard.
Right.
So you did this, you did that. You did all these. I'm like, I guess if you say so. This is what I did though, man. You can put it into whatever format you want, but I closed the fucking deal. I shut up and erased the board. And let's get to the drinking.
Yeah, just time to celebrate. Let's move on to the more important stuff. But you know what?
That was your D&D too. I couldn't tell you what I'm doing, but I can tell you this: the key to improv is prep, because it sounds like an oxymoron or a contradiction, but if you got a lot of arrows in your quiver, you're able to pull them out when you need them. Yeah. Generic arrows. So as long as you know your world, your game, your system, the scenario pretty well, you could pull it out of your ass easily, I think.
I mean, I can improv with Swords and Wizardry Light. Usually, I mean, even when I was game mastering, like my first session, I didn't know I was going to be running a game, and it's like, oh wait, you're running a game today? Like, I am? Like, yeah. Oh, it's a good thing I always have Inkwell Designs has a bunch of, they have monster cards and everything else, but they had these I don't want to call them dungeon cards, because they were mostly like 3 or 4 room, like little mini dungeons without any game stats attached to it. I was like, all right. So I go, I shuffle the deck, had one of my players pull a card, go, give me the card. All right, everybody take a 10-minute smoke break or whatever you guys do. Come back in 10 minutes and we'll have a game to go. And I had 2 sessions out of that, because I am happy because that's a challenge to me. And a lot of times running a pre-written adventure isn't as challenging for me. Until I listen to one thing I didn't really read, which I've done that too. True confession, but hey.
Wasn't it not the mansion one? Didn't you pull that off with the mansion one?
Oh yeah, Teagle Manor.
Yes,
Well,
yes, yeah,
here's the thing with when I ran Teagle Manor and I had all the maps on the floor of the room
yeah,
because you know it was literally printed to like scale, like miniature scale.
yeah.
So it took up the equivalent of 4 shower curtains, and uh, I had uh, I had the current copy of the game, and I had an old Judges Guild copy of the game. So I was like, all right. Now the new copy of the game that by Frog Eye Games is greatly expanded and detailed everything. But I think Pex was having to run that, and he didn't. He had never read it. So I said, "Here, take this." And then I'm reading the Judges Guild, and I went, "This isn't going to work with first level characters." Fuck it. I know exactly what the field's got to be. It's a funhouse dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a dead family of ghosts here.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Everything else, I am going to go from the details on the map because that's how detailed the map fucking.
Oh wow, okay, that's cool.
And everything else was my players pointing in the map. Well, we're going to go here. All right. Well, this room is a library. I don't know. I don't know if the book says a library or what kind of a library, but I had everything I needed to get from that based upon Alyssa Faden's amazing fucking map. The detail.
Oh, she did that. I was just going to say
Yeah.
you had her on the other day, and she was talking about her
Yeah.
maps. How she likes to have
You know,
all these minute details on each map, so that a DM could always discover things as they go that they never saw before. And I was just going to reference that, but she did the map. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
well, Dandelion Games, do you guys have a go-to monster or encounter you find yourselves throwing in quite often when you run different groups? I don't. However, that being said, I have a fondness of allowing my groups, my characters, if they take a humanoid captive for interrogation purposes,
Mm-hmm.
I try to make them likable enough that they don't want to kill them. And suddenly, in a session or two, you now have a goblin henchman in the party. Joe's experienced that with me because it amuses me, but I think it's organic. But I don't necessarily go in with it. It evolves from the gameplay. It's like, oh well, look, they took a prisoner and they killed one. They took 2 prisoners. They killed one, and now they got the last one. He's going to make himself very livable. He's going to play himself up to the point that they're not going to want to kill him.
Yeah.
And I have
did,
done that.
We did torture and kill some guys in your campaign. I seem to remember.
Yeah.
was it your game that we tied up an orc? We put him in it was a mine, and we put him in a mine cart filled it with flaming oil, lit it on fire, and pushed him down the mine cart because there was a bunch of other orcs, his family members were all hiding out there, and we figured we'd fireball the hallway with a flying orc. He was screaming in agony as a demoralizer.
You know, I don't think that the flaming oil really was the issue when it hit. I think it was more the orc flambe that was screaming along the way that broke their morale.
Yeah.
But really, at that point, doesn't matter how you got there. And by the way, if you are a DM and you haven't learned it by now, your player characters likely have one or more pyromaniac amongst them.
Oh yeah,
which makes me wonder about the actual players' tendencies in repressed real life. But that's a whole other issue.
You know, watching this a lot of, for some reason, I'm not a sports guy, so I'm not watching football or anything like that today. I'm sitting here watching like history shows. Nights, you start on Amazon and you watch something that's on nights, and then you see customers also watch. And next thing you know, you're down the rabbit hole, right? I watched every Middle Ages show in the last 15 hours. I think that Amazon had. I'm still going. And one of them was about knights in war, medieval warfare, and this and that. And they talked about one tactic that the archers used was, even if it was a small wound, you might die from it. There's a good chance, because what they would do is they would stick their arrows before any shot in either like shit or dead bodies that have been rotting in the sun for so long. And so all these arrows are naturally poisoned. Dude, I'm gonna die. Every single arrow, I'm gonna carry in a bag of shit with me. Every arrow that I shoot is gonna be dipped in shit and shot at the enemy. And everybody's gonna have to do like a save versus poison or something like that for later on damage. Every time. Why not? It's easy. Everyone shits. You got a bag of shit next to you. You got a wineskin, a water skin, a shit skin. It's perfect.
Yeah, but you know what? That's gonna that kind of along the same argument as to critical hits. Do they benefit the players or the adversaries more? And they benefit the adversaries because monsters and counters are meant to be dealt with and left behind. My wine's really tasting good, but man, it's giving me the hiccups. So if you critical hit your enemy, you kill him, that's great. Or you don't kill him, but you I don't know, you make them frail in the right arm. They can't use their right arm.
Yeah.
That doesn't, you're gonna kill them anyway. So the end result is nothing. But if your player character who survives that encounter has or now has a broken arm and has to heal up for 6 weeks before using it, well, that has a huge game effect. So now you shooting shitty arrows at your adversaries, you're going to kill those goblins anyway. But if they shoot shitty arrows at you, well, now that's a fucking problem.
Absolutely. Everyone's going to have shitty arrows now. As a DM, all of a sudden, the entire world is going to be carrying shit-covered arrows. My brother's going to be like, what the fuck? I can't wait.
There you go.
And I know he's not listening tonight, so so he won't be clued in. I'm not gonna let him know we did the podcast until after he gets his first shit arrow hit. I think we're playing Saturdays tomorrow, so we gotta. Yeah, well,
it won't go. This will be going up on Saturday night anyway.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. I was wondering about that. So we're live now.
We are live. We are live now.
All right,
and we have a live audience, which is always fun and exciting. But the actual audio version of this will go up on Saturday because Rach and I still do Gamers Health on Fridays.
Okay.
And I will not sustain or last under the wrath of a wife who cannot get her Gamers Health.
All right. Sounds good.
Which is good. I'll be honest with you. Because you're talking about, again, like you didn't know how you made a sale. I've been asked, and I've already said this in the past, but if I could bottle my secret to having a successful website, blog, gamer site, whatever, I'd love to. All right. I'd love to bottle it. And I'm not holding any secrets back. I'm not sure what the secrets are. Besides longevity and stick-to-itness and caring about your communities, all these little things. But there's some intangibles that I couldn't tell you.
I think it's that you're open to stuff, man. Over the years, I've suggested, because as I saw your blog sort of becoming the hub, I'm like, hey, Eric, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? I'm like, yeah, that's all right. Let's try it. And then you did it. And so, some of it stuck, some of it didn't, but you tried everything. You threw it all against the wall. Whatever sounded like a good idea, you just went on your gut, and a lot of it stuck. A
lot of it stuck. A lot of it hasn't stuck. Yeah, I've also been told that one of my good traits is that when I realize something isn't working, I'm okay with walking away from it.
Yeah.
Which is
it's good.
Yeah. And here's the other thing, and if you're watching this podcast, live stream, if you're listening to the podcast, the me that you are seeing here is the same me that you will see at a convention or bump into at a bar or at a game store. It's the same me on the blog. And Joe's seen me get worked up over shit. So if I get worked up over a Kickstarter that's fucking people over, that's legitimately me getting, worked up. But this is what you see is what you get. It takes too much energy to put on a fucking show.
Yeah, too old for that.
Online. Yeah. If you don't fucking like me, that's fine. I'm doing something wrong if everybody likes me, because then I'm like, I don't know, marshmallow or something like that. I've got no taste if I'm not offending somebody.
Yeah. Pretty much I'm the same way, except I won't get into politics online or live or anything like that. It's not worth it. No. Other than that, what you see is what you get too. I think that's why we get along. We've had podcasts before in the bar. It's the same as this.
Oh God, yeah.
We played the games together on Thursday nights. It's the same interaction as this. There's no difference. Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait to get those going again, man. Fuck COVID.
Oh my God.
Fuck COVID.
Yeah, hopefully when we get back to complete. Hopefully there's still bars in the area we can pop into and have a little grub and suck down a beer and be able to live life.
I think I was texting you about this too. There was New York, the big exodus from New York City, right? Everybody's moving out to Connecticut, Jersey, wherever, right? They're just getting the hell out. And so because everything's closed up, there's no perks, no fringe benefits living in New York, right? And COVID and people just saying I'm broke or whatever. And I wonder if New York, because it's gotten so filled up, basically the character of New York neighborhoods is gone for the most part over the last 20, 25 years. It used to be, you mentioned neighborhood, especially Manhattan, you had a certain character or whatever, a certain vibe, certain type of people lived there. And it was very different. Now everything is so pasteurized, homogenized, vitamin D New York. There's just, everything is the same. And I wonder with the exodus happening, if we're going to get back to the old New York, right? Like Bill Burr, the comedian, said, what is the guy, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids dude, who got punched in the face randomly?
Yeah.
He was walking down the street in New York City randomly, got punched in the face, and Bill Burr's on SNL. And he says, he's talking about that incident. He goes, New York's back, baby. I'm like, that's it. It's true. 30 years ago, nobody would have blinked at something like that happening. Now it makes big news.
I think that I'm not going to say it's going to be character, but I think that there's the crime rates and the quality of life offenses are going to skyrocket over the next couple of years for many reasons, not just COVID, but for multiple reasons. And I don't know. Again, I live in a 2-family home with my parents downstairs and Rachel and I upstairs, and I don't know. Maybe we'll move out to Long Island. I don't know if that's much of an improvement, but
I was wondering if you just close it up and move to the Poconos, just full time.
We would listen prior to COVID, prior to congestive heart failure. That was quite likely, or at least split our time.
Yeah.
Now,
I remember you actually showed me the pictures of the house you were looking at, your iPhone.
Oh yeah.
We're at the last time we hit the bar. You were showing this is where it is.
Actually seeing it in person, though, the one thing that it had one of those spiral staircases that was very steep and very narrow, and it felt very rickety. So I was glad we wound up not getting that place. Yeah. I would not have been very happy with it. It would not have done me well.
Spiral staircase, beer don't go.
Oh yeah, a well done spiral staircase that has like the wooden steps on it and all that stuff. But this was one that was trying to use as little space as possible, and it was metal and felt rickety and shoved in. It's like no. I don't think so.
No, plus it's
I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll the first D20 here and see.
Oh, all right, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna count backwards because that's.
Yeah.
I gotta count. Oh, geez, 18.
Well, don't count me. Threw a couple comments in there. You think you're muted.
Oh, Eric. You go back. So you know what? With you're not in it, then there aren't even 18. I don't have my DCC dice out, so I will. I'm gonna actually have to make this do a wraparound.
Huh?
And then comes back to the beginning for 18, and 18 is Dandelion Games.
Cool.
So Dandelion Games, email me at tenkars.tavern@gmail.com and tell me you are watching the live stream and that you're Dandelion Games, and then we'll take it from there. And then 4 from there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bill Griggs, and Bill's been involved with the tavern for a number of years. I remember Bill. Bill, again, tenkars.tavern@gmail.com. I'll actually put it in the chat. Email me. You both are going to be getting $25 drive-through RPG gift certificates. This is, again, it's not me being generous. It's me giving back to the community that gave me the money in the first place. So,
we're buying viewers. Let's admit it. We're buying. Listen, if you show up because you might get money and you hit subscribe, we're happy with that shit too. But yeah, it's cool of you, man. It's your cash. You don't have to do this, so that's really cool of you. It's not my cash. It's Eric's. Just so you know, it's not. Yeah, so that's neat, man.
Yeah, again, like I said, it comes from gamers. It goes back to gamers. I really appreciate the folks that there was a cat rescue that I was I was actually supporting recently because I happen to be not just a cat lover, but my girl was a rescue, and our current cat, who came in at the end of October, she's literally a rescue because she was a stray. She walked herself in.
Yeah.
And David Beatty, you might know him from some DCC stuff, and he's got the DCC West game coming up, Dark Trails game coming up. He was doing a fundraiser for the feline cat, I guess, nonprofit that's out by him. And I told him that the tavern would match dollar for dollar the first 500 that tavern has raised. Now tavern has raised 150, but I also told him I would match a minimum of 250, which is what I did. I sent him the money yesterday.
Nice.
But again, this is money that affiliate links, in this case from Drive-Thru, in the case of David from Humble Bundle. This is money that came from the community, rewarded me for doing nothing than what I was doing anyway. So to give it back to the community, I can't think of anything finer to do.
I think you got a typo there, man. Tankars or Tankars.tavern, right?
Tankars.tavern@gmail.com, because I don't trust the scrub bots to come onto these sites and try to scrub the email addresses. So I don't know if that's going to definitely stop a scrub bot from grabbing that email address. But
no, I think you wrote Tankars.tankers though. You meant to write Tankars.tavern.
Oh,
right?
Tanker. Oh, you're right. All right. Yeah, never mind.
Whether you don't email at the wrong place.
Yeah, well then I'm sure it won't go through.
Yeah.
Maybe like, what happened?
Unless there's some guy Tankars.tankers wondering what fucking free shit. I'm not giving you anything free.
Yeah. You owe me $25. Go fuck yourself.
Another internet scam.
Yes.
Move to junk.
But
hey, it's a good first day, man. I like this. This is cool.
Yeah,
it's cool.
It's a good format, and you know what? It is free form. I know Mike and I we call it a hex crawl when Mike and I do the Talking Crit on Wednesday nights. But that's a hex crawl that deals with current events in the gaming hobby.
Yeah.
Joe and I aren't going to be talking current events in the gaming hobby. We're going to be talking current editions, old editions, cloned editions, and game theory and game thought. So it's going to be a different way to look at things.
Yeah, I like that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm always making house rules for everything I ever do, and it drives people nuts. But I like to get under the hood on things like that and just play with it and see what works. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I like that. Yeah.
So, folks, I thank you all our live listeners, all our podcast listeners, everybody who catches this live stream later on YouTube. I thank you for myself and for Joe for watching or listening, and please subscribe to the channel on YouTube, like the episode, and when you're watching, participate.
Yeah. If you want, feel free to comment, because I'm going to read the comments and go back, and if you have any questions or something, we'll address it in the next time.
Yeah, and
whatever.
Yeah, I'm doing OSR Christmas through January 6th. It's going to be, either with the live streams or on the blog side. All you got to do really is comment to have an opportunity to be gifted. I'm going to be giving away more Drive-Thru RPG gift certificates, copies of Torchlight, copies of Swords and Wizardry Continual Light. So there's gifts for everybody. Thaddeus Moore is going to be giving some OSR patches. Frog God's going to be giving some PDFs. Bed Mike's been sending out physical Frog God prizes for the live streams on Wednesday. We have a few other donors of products. So, but it's just our way to give back to the community and to celebrate this joyous time of year. And thank God that 2020 is coming to an end.
Holy fucking A. That's the one thing I think the entire world can freaking agree on, except the billionaires who got richer. Anyway, that's my only laugh for politics.
Yeah. It's not even politics. Come on. Amazon, Walmart, freaking Target. Them getting richer over this is not politics. It's just reality. Folks, neither Joe nor I are medical professionals. We are not going to tell you what to do in the midst of this pandemic. I am going to say, use your common sense.
Yeah, be safe.
Yeah, use your common sense. You got to keep yourself safe and healthy to be able to help your family and others, right?
Yeah, just that's it. Look at it like you're protecting somebody else's cherished family member. You know? Yeah.
That's
All right, guys.
That's all we can ask you. Be safe, be well. It's Christmas Day when we are recording this, so not to be overly religious, but to all the Christians, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
A Happy Hanukkah. For those that are celebrating the winter solstice, everybody out there, we wish you a blessed holiday season
And a great new year. It's got to be better than this one. It's got to be fucking better than this one. All right, guys.
Later, folks.
Bye.